Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hockey 605's tournament wrap-up program live from the Larson Ice Center. Randy Preston here with Dakota Case. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you.
I can't move. That's why I'm here. They just kind of set up around me.
They propped you up in the chair and just let you do your thing, huh?
Help.
Well, we had a lot of fun today here at the Ice Center. It was a great tournament. Lots of incredible hockey.
It was one for the books, folks. It really was.
Well, since this is our This Week on the Ice program, actually, today, I'm going to just take a few moments. We're going to talk a little bit about our other South Dakota hockey programs that we have out there, in particular the North American League teams, the Aberdeen Wings and the Brookings Blizzard, as well as the Sioux Falls Stampede, and talk a little bit about the Rapid City Rush, which is kind of an interesting thing going on. Matter of fact, why don't we start with the Rush?
Okay.
Rush played 3 games this weekend, all against the first place Allen Americans. And, going into the weekend, nobody would have thought that the Rush really would have had a chance against that team. At least not maybe they pick up one,
Right.
They had an incredible weekend. And they started on Tuesday night game in Rapid, and it was a victory for the Allen Americans. But a very close game. Goals scored in the second and the third by Allen, and a goal scored late in the third by Jesse Schultz from Rapid City. This was once again out at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center, and by all accounts, a pretty good game. Very exciting game. Of course, defensive battle out there in the sticks, but ECHL can tend to be a little bit that way, a little defensive and a little bit of a little bit of rough and tumble hockey.
Yeah, I've never watched an ECHL game. So.
Well, one of these days it's on my bucket list, but I have seen one down somewhere actually out east, where the East Coast Hockey League should be playing.
Right. Well, they completely did away with the East Coast Hockey League. All it is now, it is literally ECHL.
Yes.
That's all it stands for is ECHL.
Oh, and I understand that, but to me, the historic guy, it'll always be the East Coast Hockey League.
Yep.
Friday night for the rematch, and this looked to be quite an interesting game. Allen got out to a 2-1 lead in the first. Rushmore got a goal in the second and a goal in the third to win it 3-2. Winston Daychief with all three of the Rushmore goals.
Wow.
Hat trick on the night. He had a goal, 2:32 in the first, 1:44 in the second, and seriously, with 22 seconds left in the third, game-winning goal.
Clutch goal. That's a clutch performer.
So 3-2 win for for Rapid City. So now the 3-game series is tied to 1 game apiece, and moving on to Saturday night where they took on the Americans one last time at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center, and this one was completely dominated by the Rush. 5-3 was the final. The game itself was a very tight game until the third, and even in the third was a goal battle. Rushmore scored the first goal in the first period, 18:48 in the first. Brisebois with the goal, and then in the third period, 4 Rushmore goals to 3 Allen American goals. The final goal for Rushmore scored with 30 seconds left in the game. Kerbashian with that goal. We had goals from Schultz, Earhart, Ferrero, and Kerbashian for the Rapid City Rush. So really an all-around good scoring mix for the team.
Now, they just played 3 games against Allen. It's not the playoffs, correct?
No, this is not the playoffs. This is just 3 against Allen at this point.
Wow.
And I'm going to see if I can pull up the standings because this is interesting at this point. Rush, they were in 4th place last week in their division, and they moved up to 3rd. They are now with 67 points. They're 2 points behind second place Quad City Mallards and 3 points ahead of the 4th place Tulsa Oilers. I believe they take 4 teams into their playoffs. So Rush has not a lock on their playoffs, but they're in pretty good shape at this point.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Americans are walking away with this division. They've got 85 points, 39, 13, and 4-3.
Wow.
They're just an amazing team, Allen, Texas.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting league. It's an interesting time. Kind of see how things go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have the next week's schedule in front of me, but I'll guarantee you they're playing a few games. If the Rush are at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center this weekend, go out and see a Rush game. They could really use the support, and they're on a roll right now, frankly.
Check it out.
And if they're not at home, I'm sure you can listen to it on the radio. I also know that ECHL does have a live streaming system that you can pay-per-view the games.
So like Game Center Live.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Very, very, very similar. Sort of like fast hockey for the USHL and the North American League.
Yeah.
Check out a game. Support the team.
Absolutely. Pro hockey in South Dakota, the only pro team in South Dakota, and that makes me only ask, well, Sioux Falls, what are we going to do about that? But that's a story for another time. So speaking of Sioux Falls, we have actually a very good junior program in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, not bad. They've got a pretty good Sioux Falls Stampede team there in Sioux Falls, United States Hockey League. They're doing okay.
Yeah.
The Herd played 3 games this weekend. Matter of fact, 1 game is still in process as we speak.
Okay.
But we'll start on Friday night. Friday night, and I just hit the wrong button here. But Friday night, Stampede took on the Omaha Lancers, and it was quite a game. I did get a chance to check some of that game out on online on Fast Hockey Friday night, and it was a battle. It really was a battle. The Stampede netminder, I believe it was Lekas. Yeah, Lekas was in goal, and he was just really an incredible force to be heard from.
Yeah.
Very, very physical game. Take a look at the penalty list here in the second period. It looks like a, I don't know, looks like a laundry list.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yep.
I think, let's take a look here and see. I know that on this list someplace they have a total. Omaha had 48 minutes on 13 infractions. Sioux Falls with 56 minutes on 13 infractions. So it was quite a night. But let's talk a little bit about the game. Omaha gets out to a 2-0 lead in the first period. They pretty much dominated the first period. Shots on goal for the first 15 shots for Omaha versus 6 for Sioux Falls. Not much you can say there. It was just a dominating performance. And once again, this was down at the Ralston Ice Center down in Ralston, Nebraska. Stampede came out in the second and did get a goal. Dakota Joshua with the goal from Dylan Eichstadt and Chris Polkamp. That was about halfway through the second period. Good stuff. In the third, Ryan Donato gets a goal for Omaha for just 45 seconds into the third. And then a minute and a quarter later, Colin Peters for Sioux Falls on the power play from Mikey Isamont and Cooper Marody. Isamont, a recent trade from the Fargo Force.
And he's a pretty good addition.
He is.
He's been putting up some points this year.
This is his first point for the Stampede right here.
Yeah.
And there was a waved-off goal that he had scored earlier in this game that did get waved off. As a matter of fact, as I recall, the Herd had 2 goals waved off in this game earlier in the game.
And then when you come out, you're already down 2-1, and then 45 seconds into the third period, Omaha scores. It's 3-1.
Right.
You'd think that might be a nail in the coffin, but no.
Not for the Herd.
Sioux Falls comes roaring back.
Yeah, the Herd does a really, really nice job of not giving up. I can say that. I don't care how many goals they're down, they never give up. That team never gives up. So they come back, Peters with the goal, and then at 3:09, another goal from Sioux Falls to tie it. Matt Nuttall from Joshua and Courtnall was an absolutely beauty of a goal. But that ties it up at 3, and that was it for the regulation. No goals in the overtime period, on to a shootout. Shootout 4 rounds deep. Troy Loggins gets a goal. Kiefer Bellows and Cooper Marody are denied. Mikey Isamont with his first goal of the season for the Stampede, game-winning goal in the shootout.
And that's it.
So 4-3 Stampede. That helps them in their playoff standings. They have a battle to keep in that 4th place or to move up in the standings between now and the maybe 8 or 9 games left in the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games left in the season.
Many. Yeah. And then they beat Lincoln 3-1.
They did have a 3-1 game with Lincoln on Saturday. Really never much of a contest, as it, Sioux Falls, they had basically 3-1 from the middle part of the second period on.
Yeah.
Goals for Sioux Falls from Parker Toomey, Kiefer Bellows, and Cooper Marody. Amazingly enough, a nearly penalty-free game, and you don't hear that much down in Lincoln.
No.
Lincoln, where the beer flows freely, and the and the coaches love their penalties.
I have not been down there, so I would not know that. So.
Well, it's been a long time, but I did hear back in the day that 2 of the interview questions for the coach for the Lincoln Stars team were, how do you feel about beer sales, and how do you feel about fighting in hockey?
Okay. Moving on.
But a 3-1 victory for the Stampede, and they're in the middle of a game right now in Waterloo, and let's see if I can get a score update, see how close we are to being finished down there. 3-0 final, Waterloo with the victory. Really nothing much from the Stampede today. They were probably a little tired after their third game And really, that's to be expected. Max Cota took a penalty there. He is the younger brother of Sam Cota.
Yep. Former Sioux Falls Stampede player.
And, the Waterloo Blackhawks are a team on the move right now. They, for whatever reason, PK has his team just peaking at the right time, but unfortunately a little bit too far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So, and moving on, once again, more junior hockey, North American Hockey League. We've got the Aberdeen Wings and the Brookings Blizzard. They did play 2 games up in Aberdeen this weekend. Not going to go into a lot of details with this because we need to move on and get our scoring stuff done here for this tournament this weekend. But they did split the 2 games. Brookings won the game on Friday night 2-1, and Aberdeen won the game last night, Saturday night, 6-2.
Oh, so that's quite the comeback.
Yeah, very much so.
Or turnaround, I should
Wings are a little bit better in the standings, but unfortunately the Wings and the Blizzard are at the bottom of the division. Doesn't look like either of those teams are going to move on to the playoffs. You've got the Austin Bruins out in Austin, Minnesota, that are just on fire.
Christian Folan of the Minnesota Wild, the pride and joy of those very same Austin Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
He comes down every once in a while on his days off and will practice with them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, very cool. He played for the Fargo Force. He was a cast-off. They picked him up at a gas station, a transfer from the USHL to the NAHL. And from there, he played with them, went on to UMass Lowell. After 2 seasons at UMass Lowell, he went from being a USHL castaway to the prized NCAA NHL free agent.
Perfect.
All 30 NHL teams submitted offer sheets to him.
That's amazing.
And he signed with Minnesota.
Well, very cool.
And he still hangs with those same Austin Bruins. So, maybe we can expect a little bit of Christian Folan to rub off a little bit on those Austin defensemen.
There you go.
I'm telling you, that right there is why they're doing so well. So,
there you go. Well, you've got the insight, that's for sure. So that's it for our junior and our pro report. Just want to take a quick moment and shout out to our sponsor. Sponsor for this weekend is the Shields Iceplex. Brian was generous enough to sponsor our program this weekend. And the Shields Iceplex, what a great facility down there in Sioux Falls. 3 sheets of ice. They've always got something going on.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing the amount of traffic they have through there.
Oh, it's incredible.
This upcoming weekend, next weekend, they have their first ever figure skating competition. That's next weekend, the weekend of the 20th.
Yeah.
Following weekend is their first ever AAA hockey tournament at the Shields Iceplex. Northland Hockey Group bringing in 33 hockey teams to play at the Shields Iceplex Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the weekend of the 27th.
Oh, wow.
So these are AAA teams that are probably from U16 and below.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
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 A lot of fun.
That's gonna be a great program to watch.
Certainly. They did have a U12 girls jamboree this weekend that by all accounts was very successful. I heard from a few of the parents that were up here that were working with me behind the counter that worked a game in the morning, ran down, watched a couple of U12 games, then came back up. They said it was very well run, very well received, and they had a really good time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Great.
Then they've got open skating every Friday and Saturday night, men's league hockey every Sunday night, and then men's league has a very special thing coming up there. The Sioux Falls Amateur Adult Hockey League is sponsoring a tournament sponsored by Grand Falls Casino.
Okay.
And they're doing a men's league tournament April 18th and 19th. There'll be an A and a B division.
Okay, yeah.
And they're going to have a poker night, and they're just going to have a really good time and play a little hockey.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Sure, I think it will be.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's always a good time there at the Shields Iceplex. I'm very happy to help out down there with men's league on Sunday nights. And got a text this afternoon wondering if I could come down and keep score tonight. And unfortunately, I ain't going to make it to Sioux Falls in time. Sorry, Corey. Maybe next week. But it's all good. So anyway, check out the website for Shields Iceplex at shieldsiceplex.com.
Okay.
All right. So moving on, let's talk about today.
Oh, boy. Where to begin?
Well, let's begin at the beginning, shall we?
Now, I figured that's what it would be. Watertown beating Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And did I can't remember. Did I give a score for that one? Or
I don't remember.
I don't think I did, but 3-2 sounds accurate, though.
Yeah.
At least for what I was thinking. So, yeah, I mean, Watertown, they just have a great program up there. And Brookings, from what I've been hearing, they came out of the gate on the season really looking strong and almost unbeatable.
Aberdeen, you mean?
Aberdeen, yeah.
They really opened the season up very strong. They had they were in the top 4 in the standings for probably the first 6 or 8 weeks of the season. Battling with Rushmore and Sioux Falls and Brookings for the top spot, and then just recently, maybe the last 6 weeks or so, just started falling away.
But what's at the root of that? I mean, in your opinion?
I really don't know. It could have been strength of schedule more than anything.
Yeah.
But they put up a strong battle against Brookings. They put up a strong battle against Sioux Falls. They got swept by Rushmore. Yeah. I believe they got swept by Oahe.
Well, those are both 2 great clubs.
Yeah. But it was a collapse that was not totally expected.
Yeah.
And unfortunate, because it's been a long time since Aberdeen's had a strong varsity program up there. And I would say that this was the year that they're really starting to show some strength and some growth. Okay. And I think they maybe have something to show the next year or 2 down the road.
So what you're saying is they definitely have something to build off of next year.
Yes. Well, they have been floundering around the bottom of the standings for as long as I can remember varsity hockey. Yeah. Since my son's been involved in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So, Watertown wins 3-2.
Yes.
And then we go on to, are we just going to recap this game?
Yeah, let's recap it was quite a good game there.
Yeah. Yep. I missed that, so I was here for the Brookings Oahe game. So I'll take this one. I mean, ultimately it was a very, very close game throughout most of the game. Yeah. Ended that way for certain. Although Watertown did dominate the game in shots, particularly the first period, Watertown outshot Aberdeen 27-13. Oh my goodness! But 40 shots in the first period combined. And it was 1-1.
1-1 at the end of one. Oh
man!
So at 5:53, Aberdeen gets a goal from Matt Hardy, assisted by Ryan Bauer. And then about a minute and a half before the end of the period, 15:22, Watertown gets a goal from Jason Good with an assist from Jarrett Speary. That was on a power play goal. The only Aberdeen penalty in the first period, and Watertown gets a power play goal on that.
Well, that's what wins you games, being able to capitalize there on opportunities.
Yeah, very much so. So we move into the second period. Shots on goal for the second period. Now, I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate or not. It says 2-1. Now, there may have been a little overlap here in the online scoring. That happens before. But
so it went from a very, very open game to a very closed game.
Yes. Now,
Wow.
there were 3 goals. I'm thinking there's an error in the scoring here. But there were 3 goals in the second period. Aberdeen with 1 goal by Colton Carl. Or I'm sorry, never mind. I was in the penalty. 1 goal in the second period. Jared Spearing, shorthanded goal by the Lakers with just a little under a minute left in the second.
Yeah.
Make it 2-1 Watertown. And we move on.
Yeah.
Third period. Once again, the Lakers score first. Lucas Eide with a goal at 6:33 from Parker Riddle and Alex Ortmeyer. Actually, that goal I do remember. It was an absolute beaut. Quick, crisp passing and a backdoor goal. Just very nice.
It's good.
Very nice.
And that's one thing that I've noticed from Watertown in the limited showing that I've seen from them is that they are a team that they're very smooth in the way they play. They're very fluid, and that is just as a hockey fan, that is so much fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Because that's when you know they're on top of their game. Is when they're. I mean, it's graceful, is what it is.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Third period. Aberdeen does come back, 9:59, to get that second goal from Desmond Dean, assisted by Braxton Farman, to make it 3-2. They fought hard, but could not put the biscuit in the basket at the end. 3-2 victory for the Lakers.
But is that really all that surprising?
Not really. Well, the only thing that's really surprising is that it was 3-2.
Yeah.
My opinion, I think it probably could have been without the goaltending that was there for Watertown, or for Aberdeen. It could have very easily been 6-2, 7-2.
Yeah.
Kronberg was in goal, stopping 39 of 42 shots, 929 save percentage on the day.
Incredible.
That's just really strong.
Oh, absolutely.
I would believe, based upon just a quick thought, that he had the highest save percentage of the entire tournament today.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
So, Robbie Lucan was in goal for Watertown. He stopped 20 of 22 shots for a 909 save percentage. Once again, very strong save percentage.
Very respectable, absolutely.
And, quite a great program, quite a great tournament game.
Absolutely.
So, that's the Aberdeen game. And you got here just in time to watch this one. I saw you standing up here.
Yeah, the last 2 periods is what I caught.
Oahe Capitals taking on the Brookings Ranger, the 3 and 4 seed for the tournament.
That was a fun game to watch. That was, oh man. It was tied 1-1 by the time I got here. We had goals from, is that
Akron Proto.
Akron Proto, that's what I thought. With an assist there from Brandon Heesh. And then Landon Badger. Badger is just, I mean, he's just a Badger.
Yeah.
He really is. An even strength goal with an assist from number 85, Max Longman. What a game. I mean, he ended up having a hat trick in that game. Outstanding.
It was quite a game. And you got here in time to see the second period. Now, so we're 1-1 at the end of one. Shots on goal 10-7 for in favor of the Rangers. Not really all that unexpected. It was, it was a kind of the way that those teams play. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So we move on to the second period. Brookings comes out and scores a goal 8.5 minutes into the second, 8:21. Goal by Kyle Krogman from Kyle Guttormson.
But that goal does not happen without Guttormson keeping that puck in right at the blue line. That was just an amazing play there, and outstanding. That's what I was gushing over. And then I see Krogman score. And I mean, that does not happen without that play by Guttormson. Right.
And I of course, am sitting downstairs, and Kyle's dad, Ryan, is doing PA for the game.
Yeah.
And he just about hit me over the head with the clipboard. Said, "Oh, yeah!" But, it's all good. It's all good. So just a couple minutes later, at 11:06, another Rangers goal. Tanner Nielsen from Austin Himley and Austin Zerfus, and that was another pretty goal.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was gorgeous.
And then with at 14:59 of the second, Oahe Caps make it interesting. Landon Badger from Peter Sanchez and Derek Burke.
And Peter Sanchez had a really great tournament yesterday. and he just took that with him into today.
Oh, he sure did.
He's a big body, great hockey sense, and he makes the right plays at the right time. And when you pair a guy like that with Landon Badger, you're going to see magic happen.
Yes, you are. So we get done with the third period. It is 3-2 Brookings. Shots on goal in the second period, shots on goal 20-8 in the favor of the Rangers.
Yeah.
They were shooting the puck like crazy. They're ahead at this point twice. They're 30-15 shots on goal at the end of the second period.
Yeah.
So we move into the third. Caps get a goal. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. This was an interesting thing to see in the period or the intermission between the second and third period, seeing these student sections chanting back and forth at each other. And that was one thing that I noticed in that second period, is that no matter how many goals Brookings scored, the Oahe student section, they didn't lose that intensity, that focus. They kept up that energy, and I think that seeing that the fan base wasn't worried really helped restore confidence to the team itself.
Yeah, very much so.
They were able to build off that into the third period, which is what we're going to talk about here.
Third period was interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very early in the third, 1:21 in. Caps get a goal. Landon Badger with his hat-trick goal of the game. Assist on the power play from Lane Hone. So here we are tied at 3. And no more than 40 seconds later, another Capitals goal. Nick Gusso from Austin Buchholz to put the Caps ahead 4-3.
And the home crowd just went silent.
Deflated.
Oh, absolutely. The air went out of them, that was for sure.
Now, the Rangers kept on pounding. They really kept on shooting the puck. They were playing a very, very good game in the third, but they just could not get past the piece. I mean,
Peace was incredible in that game.
Yeah.
41 shots on goal?
41 shots total. He stopped 38.
A .927, a 92.7 save percentage.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Great game by him.
And the Rangers goaltender stopped 20 of 24 for an .833. That was John Koenig. Ultimately, after some rather physical penalties in the third, Caps did come out ahead of that game, 4-3 with the final. They take the third place on the tournament for the weekend.
And that's probably the one upset of the tournament.
Yeah.
Simply because Brookings, I mean, they have a very good program, and to not place in the first, second, or third at home, that's just almost unheard of for Brookings.
Now, yesterday I'd mentioned the kind of the Brookings flow. Did you get a chance to see what I was talking about a little bit today?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I thought that the Capitals defended Brookings very well today.
Absolutely, yeah.
And once again, from anytime you have a Rob Kate coach team, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
you could see they were a very disciplined, very coached team.
Very much so.
And when you have a team like that, you're going to succeed.
Oh, certainly. So before we get to the final, let's do a couple of quick shout-outs.
Okay.
We really need to talk about Hockey 605 and their DVD collection they have of this tournament. I mean, if you want to relive this tournament, you can watch it on YouTube. But you know what? These high-def DVDs that they have out there are really, really incredible.
Yeah.
Randy and Carol have done a wonderful job of archiving these games and making them accessible to everybody via DVD. They've been in the stands live streaming each and every game of the tournament. The game DVDs are in HD and available by visiting hockey605.com. And I tell you what, Randy and Carol do a nice job.
They do.
What can I say? So if you're interested in a game DVD, check it out at hockey605.com. They'll get them out quickly. I know they will. And it'd be a great memory for your child, your hockey player, for grandma, for grandpa, mom and dad, whatever.
We can guarantee you will not be disappointed with
the heavens no. So. And great hockey this weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'll be willing to bet you they have a tournament package with every game too.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I just call it.
Yeah, well, I understand.
Yeah.
And I just do this.
Yeah. We just do this, you know. So.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, on to the final game. The Rushmore Thunder taking on the Sioux Falls Flyers. I was doing my best over there today to remain neutral.
Yeah.
I hope I did okay.
Yep. Yeah, you know, the whole thing, you know, Sioux Falls has some very good players. Anderson, of course, Prisby, both Prisbys.
Yeah. Otta.
Hoekstra.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with Janicek.
Yeah.
He was really, really good.
Really fast and physical.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's hard to match them up with
Yeah. Petrato, Joya, Liebernight,
oh yeah,
TJ Nolan,
Oberg.
Brooks Mitzel, Oberg.
Yeah.
Just keep on rattling the names off, you know?
It was a wave of offense.
Yeah.
And you can't. Sioux Falls just did not have the defense to contain that offense.
Yeah.
And Caleb Anderson alone could not be the answer.
No, not at all.
I mean, he doesn't deserve to have that pressure on his shoulders.
No, not at all.
And I think, especially at the end, we really saw that he did have that pressure on his shoulders. But I'll tell you what, there's a reason why Rushmore, they're back-to-back state champions. They have a great program. That's nothing to reflect poorly on any of the other programs in the state, but Rushmore deserved this one.
They sure did. So let's start with the first period. It was really, you know, for a period that ended in the score 2-2, it was really dominated by Rushmore.
Yeah, oh, no question, yeah.
So one thing the Flyers did find, they did find a weakness in the Rushmore goaltender. However, that's not saying anything wrong. They just found a way to get the puck in the net.
Yeah.
Right away, 1:30 into the game, Sioux Falls with the goal from Jacob Otta on the power play, unassisted. And they're ahead 1-0 at that point. Rushmore comes back, 8:09. Petrato goal, Anthony Petrato from Tom Joya. And then at 10:13, Owen Liebernight from Anthony Petrato. Both those goals even strength. Put Thunder ahead 2-1 at that point.
Yeah.
And then at 12:35, a Flyers goal. Chase Adams from Caleb Anderson on an absolute bomb from Anderson from the blue line.
Yeah, yeah.
That was tipped.
But it was the play. It was the play he made to kind of deke and dangle around the Rushmore defenders, and then to get that shot on net. And somehow Chase Adams got his stick on it.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-2 game.
2-2 game. Adams from Anderson on that goal, and shots on goal first period were once again dominated by Rushmore, 12-6. Rushmore ahead with shots on goal. We go on into the second, and the domination notched up a little bit.
Yeah.
It became really all Rushmore at that point. Shots on goal for the second period, Rushmore with 13 shots to Sioux Falls 2. Sioux Falls could barely muster to get the puck out of their end of the ice.
Yeah, I mean, there was just no way you could get it through the neutral zone.
Right.
Rushmore was very disciplined, penalty-wise. They not so much maybe in the first period, but they didn't take that many penalties in this game, at least compared to Sioux Falls, and that is one thing, especially in the third period, that cost Sioux Falls.
Oh, very much so.
So especially when you lose that power play advantage and we end up playing 4-on-4 hockey. And we had one goal scored that way, I believe by was it Liebernight?
Yeah, I believe it was in the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite a wild game when it got into the third period.
Yeah.
It was interesting the fact that the game was very, very physical, particularly in the third period, I thought.
Yeah.
Refs were letting the teams play, but they weren't letting any really injury potential stuff happening. If there was something that was out there, they were going to blow a whistle and put a couple people away.
Yeah.
A lot of coincidentals in this game.
I noticed that.
So, but that's actually good. That's settle it down, but don't give a team an advantage just because because of that.
Yeah.
So, second period, Rushmore does get one goal, and it's the two names that you would expect on a Rushmore goal. TJ Nolan from Brooks Mitzel. That was at 4:33 of the second to put the Thunder ahead 3-2. And we take that to the locker room and come out for the third.
Yeah, and, you know, and I said then that, you know, if you're in the Rushmore locker room, you're saying, if you're the coach, you're saying, keep believing in the system. You're doing the right things. It's why you're up.
Yeah.
Just don't get away from that. Keep that up. And, you know, if you're Sioux Falls, I mean, you're telling your players, look, this is for all the marbles.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to play the best hockey of your life. Now, that puts a lot of pressure on those kids.
Right.
But, and we saw that at the end, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, Sioux Falls came out and they did take some penalties, but they did manage to get back on the score sheet. So
third period, Rushmore comes out first. Owen Liebernight with an unassisted goal. It was at 3:47.
And that puck just came out to him basically right in the slot, and he just found the back of the net. Yeah.
Just buried it.
Yeah.
At 14:25, so we're nearly at the end of the third period. Chase Adams with an even strength goal from Jacob Otta. I mean, it was another beaut of a goal.
Yeah, it was speed going down the left wing boards. That was so much fun to watch. Those two, both Adams and Otta, I especially noticed with Adams, they can really put on the Jets.
Yeah, they can.
And that makes for some well, I guess they're not called the Flyers for nothing.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, that makes for very entertaining hockey.
Well, and Otta and Adams should be back next year, unless they move on to AAA.
Yeah.
So Flyers do have a life after this. They're not. I mean, they're losing a ton of seniors this year.
Yeah.
But they've got some great people coming up. So we'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, an empty net goal from the Thunder. The Rushmore or the Flyers pulled their goaltender right around 2.5 minutes left in the game.
Something.
If I remember right.
Yeah.
You know, they're down 2 goals or down 1 goal at this point. Like, got to get a puck in. They played some really good hockey. Got quite a few shots on net during that time. Rushmore iced the puck. I don't know how many times trying to get a shot on that empty net, and they just couldn't bury it.
Well, Mitzel finally did.
He finally did. Empty netter, unassisted at 16:09 to get a 5-3 victory.
Which I called.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yep, he did.
5-3.
Hold
Rushmore.
on. I'm not worthy.
I know. No, it was, you know, you try to be impartial, and the nice thing about Hockey 605 is that we're for everybody.
Oh, certainly.
But hailing from Sioux Falls, you have those twinges of
hope,
sympathy, and hope. Yeah. So they were shattered.
Well, you know what? It was really a very, very good game. Certainly not a goaltender's battle.
No.
Donovan Knott in goal for the Flyers, stopped 28 of 32, 875. He looked really strong in net.
He had some great saves. And there were some great saves at both ends, but he, in my opinion, played the best hockey as far as of the goaltenders in this particular game.
Yeah, I would agree. Taryn Tucker was the Rushmore goaltender. He stopped 13 of 16. His save percentage just over 800%, or 880%.
Yeah.
I still firmly believe that if the Flyers could have gotten more shots on him, that they may have had a much better chance of taking the game. But they were just being bottlenecked through the neutral zone. They just couldn't make it through the neutral zone.
It's not only that offense, but it's the defense. Jack Taylor. And, Peterson. Let's see, Justin Peterson. Those two played a very strong game on the back end for Rushmore. And then when you're playing that offensive wave that Rushmore has, I mean, it's very hard to get anything going, to get a solid forecheck going, and to get pucks deep. It's nearly impossible. And
I thought that Rushmore, if we go and kind of to analyze this game a little bit, I mean, from the standpoint of just how the teams were playing, Rushmore played a very, very tight, menacing defense. 2 men on the puck, anywhere the puck went, 2 men on the puck. Their offensive flow was unlike anything I've seen all weekend. There was always a player someplace to pick up a puck. A lot of blind passes. These guys have played together for a long time, you can tell.
Well, how about that blocked shot by Anthony Petrato on Isaac Hackett? Hackett just tees one up.
Yeah.
A monstrous slapper, and you hear this thud. At first you think it's the puck slamming home into the goaltender's glove, but no, it's the puck slamming home into Anthony Petrato.
Right.
And goes all the way back down the ice. A monstrous slapper, an even bigger blocked shot, and the the Rushmore crowd just went nuts.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I went nuts. So,
But
yeah.
ultimately, Rushmore Thunder take the state championship, 2 in a row for Rushmore.
Well deserved.
Sioux Falls, second place, 2 in a row, second place for Sioux Falls. We've got the Oahe Capitals with third place, Brookings at fourth, and then Watertown with the consolation. Really, really well played tournament all around.
Absolutely.
And, I want to just express a few thank yous. First of all, thank you to the tournament committee. These guys do a wonderful job of organizing this state tournament. And at this time, there is not a better facility in the state to hold this tournament and not a better association to manage it than the Brookings Ice Skating Association. Special shout out to the tournament committee, Keith Malum, Jerry Rounds, Kelly Koenig, Todd Stratmone, and others that I don't have their names in front of me, and all the numerous volunteers of the Brookings Ice Skating Association. What a great job they do, keeping this place clean, keeping the crowds under control. There's all these little idiosyncrasies of running a tournament that you don't even think of.
Yeah.
And they do a wonderful job, a masterful job at it.
Absolutely.
Also a special shout out to our athlete correspondent, Brittany Corcoran, for all of her help this weekend. She did somewhere in the vicinity of nearly 40 interviews, as I recall, with the student athletes and coaches and the players on the ice. Brittany does such a nice job. She's such a sweetheart. And by the way, that was Brittany's mom that came up and gave me the peck on the cheek last night. Okay.
See, proof.
So. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And then there's one other shout out that I'm going to do that I don't have a note on, but that's a shout out to the game officials and the off-ice officials for this tournament. The off-ice officials, the people that are behind the bench over there doing the penalty box, keeping score, doing PA, doing the scoreboard, it's a thankless job. It really is, and of course the goal judges with these tournaments as well. Thankless job. They are all volunteers, and they do a really wonderful job remaining neutral and doing what needs to be done to keep the game managed.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, the game officials, the on-ice officials, the South Dakota crew that did this tournament. I cannot think of a better group of 8 guys from the officials association that would do this. I gave a couple of them a little bit of grief, of course, because I want to do that, and I have the right. I've earned it, working with these guys over the years. But they did a really nice job of calling these games and keeping the whole thing under control, and not going penalty crazy.
Yeah. Very, very well balanced officiating.
Very much so. Special thanks once again to Doug Sorensen. I do have Doug's permission. Doug did announce his retirement from the South Dakota head of officials today. We're going to be sorry to see Doug go, but Doug's done such a wonderful job, and we wish him nothing but the best. He did say that he's planning on at least helping with some of the I'm trying to think of what they call them, the sessions, the seminars that happen at the beginning of the year, particularly out here in eastern South Dakota.
Yeah.
And he said he will be on the ice, helping with the be an official on the ice. And his line to me was, as he's leaving out, he said, "I told these guys that I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be on the ice, and I am going to be that lineman." So he's going to be that guy that's going to call icing, and you're not going to know why he called icing. But Doug's got a great sense of humor, and once again, I want to thank Doug personally. I've known him for quite a few years. He's a great guy, and has done wonders for the South Dakota Hockey Association and the Officials Association.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so much so. Well, that's all for tonight. We want to thank you for joining us.
And thank you for everything you've done here for Hockey 605 and for all these young players here.
Well, Dakota, thank you for coming on board. And
bet.
Randy and Carol love your play-by-play, and I think the fans that are out there watching these live streams do as well. Thank you so much, man. It's good, actually good to be working with you again.
Absolutely.
After all these years.
Yeah, all these years. You're making me feel old, Randy.
You aren't as old as me, you know that. And you'll never catch up. Well, anyway, fans, thank you for watching Hockey 605's This Week on the Ice and our tournament wrap-up program. My name's Randy Preston.
I'm Dakota Case.
And you are Hockey 605.
We'll catch you next week.